The Spy may very well be my favorite thing to ever happen to multiplayer gaming. Last week I was doing something that's very hard for me to do, writing an essay whose purpose was to expose the bad aspects of something rather than the good. I gotta say, I was pretty down while doing this. I really hate being negative. It's just not in my blood. However, in that video, I showed some footage of me playing the Spy, and I just couldn't help it but literally interrupt the video to make room for a couple of jokes. A lot of the fun of stealth games is seeing what you can get away with, and messing with the guards' heads in order to open yourself a window to your objective. You feel like you're smarter than the guards, and like your patience and foresight is the reason you're able to make them look so stupid.
Did I throw a wrench into your plans?
This guy is just comedy gold, and TF2 wouldn't be half the game it is if it weren't for him. I was showing the footage to showcase that one of the most fun aspects of stealth games is seeing what you can get away with, and just how blatantly you can fool the enemy. This is fun in a single-player game, but it's pure magic in multiplayer. When you're able to fool an intelligent and unpredictable human into thinking that you're his pal only to stab him and his buddies in the back moments later, it's just the most satisfying thing on earth. Picking the Spy is equivalent to announcing to the whole server that you think you're smarter than they are, and TF2 gives Spy the perfect combination of tools to prove that he's right. You'll feel like an unstoppable killing machine, and no matter how paranoid the enemy is of your presence, they just can't detect you. It's incredible.
Merde.
This is the other side of that coin. I love playing a Spy, but what's even better is when I catch one with his pants down and get to watch him beg for mercy with some simple body language.
No. Hey!
Or immediately drop all his honor and try to hold on to his life. I was in so much danger. Like I said, picking Spy means announcing to the whole server that you think you have their number. You're a gentleman, you're a sociopath, you're unpredictable, and above all else, you're honorable. However, when you're spotted, you're none of those things. Spy hides behind his trickery, using it to make himself out as this perfect assassin, and all it takes is one false move before he's basically crying on the floor, nose dripping, begging to be let off the hook. All of us Spy mains love to think that we can outsmart anyone.
I've yet to meet one that can outsmart Bullet.
Oh no.
Us Spy mains look at all the other classes as brash idiots fighting without honor, grace, or true talent, but more often than not we're shown that none of that really matters when you're just a scrawny little Judas with 125 HP and everyone else has a giant gun. Spy is feared by all, but he can quickly be exposed as, well, a little bitch, and when that happens it's absolute comedy gold. But let's focus on when Spy is doing well, as it's just about the biggest rush of dopamine that any game can give you. Firstly, I want to debunk a myth about Spy. Everyone and their pocket heavy thinks that disguises don't work. Well, they absolutely do when used correctly in short bursts. Probably not very much in 6v6 competitive because there just aren't enough players, but in casual, the true heart of TF2, they absolutely can.
Disguised as a hoovy.
I learned how to play Spy by using Your Eternal Reward, a knife that instantly disguises you as whoever you kill and makes their body invisible, meaning that acting is the name of the game. I could use this thing to get the occasional chain stab on a rushing enemy team without them realizing that I was even there, and that's awesome, but because of the inability to change disguises without expending all of your cloak, I usually wouldn't last long enough to repeat the cycle. I'd be stuck disguised as a pyro who desperately wanted revenge, and sure enough he'd get it. As a new player, I sort of hit a barrier here, and had to start learning other knives. I just didn't know enough about the other classes to convince people that I was one of them. Nowadays, 2 years later, I'm better at playing each class, except Engineer, than the average casual player, which, let's be honest, isn't saying much. So I revisited Your Eternal Reward, and found myself able to fool enemies with my disguise way more often. So let's go back to that clip I showed last week. Before the bit you saw, I backstabbed this sniper who wasn't where he was supposed to be, and I instantly ran up to a place where a sniper would be much more helpful. However, I know that most snipers are total noobs, so I made myself look like one of them, in order to mask the fact that I couldn't scope in. I stood at a good sight line, then I just strafed left and right as if I was afraid to shoot. I do this for a few seconds, and the demo man passes me by, thinking I'm either a newbie sniper or I'm just fleeing from 1v1 with an enemy sniper. If I were a second slower with my stab, he probably would have had time to process what he saw and at least check to see if I was still just bouncing around. But I took this opportunity and stabbed him, stealing his likeness. I knew that the medic was healing the demo, so I acted like I made contact with the enemy and hid to the side for a second before going back into the same sightline that the demo was in before I killed him. Medic found me and resumed the healing, and as it turned out, the medic was new to the game. God bless him for playing medic, but I sure wasn't going to let that get in the way of this amazing opportunity. Engineer knew that he was in a tight space, and he knew that a demo man and a medic had their eyes on the most practical entrance for a spy to make. So by the time I realized I could butter knife the medic, Engineer had gotten comfortable, content in the knowledge that there weren't any spies nearby. Every single person killed in this clip completely fell for my disguise, and it was pure ecstasy. All it took was a little acting. If you don't think disguises work, I'd encourage you to lock yourself in a dojo with nothing but your eternal reward for a week. However, there's a bit more to effective disguising than just pretending to be a clueless sniper or a battle-scarred demo. See, if I had turned around without pretending to dodge something when that demo was pushing up to where I was, he would have spy-checked me for sure. So I had to take a leap of faith and strafe into cover, pretending that an enemy sniper almost killed me. As for the timing of this, I had nothing to go on other than the sounds I heard behind me. Thanks to my experience with the game, I knew my timing, so I resisted the urge to turn around completely, and I knew how to pretend like a sniper who was being counter-sniped. This is something you can only do convincingly if you've already been in a sniper v sniper 100 times. You have to at least have some experience playing every class to convincingly pull off a disguise of them.
Engineer, just leave it alone. Okay, we're good. I need a faster disguise, sniper. Just chill there for a sec. Thank you. Wow. That was very obliging of that sniper. Whoa, medic, hey. Oh my god, that was the perfect f***ing clip.
I know that this seems like bragging, but hey, spies are pretentious if nothing else. That's why it's so satisfying to cut their heads off. I just wanted to have some fun explaining a bunch of fantastically funny spy moments. Call it a birthday present from you all to me. Let's move on to this next clip, with the short reminder that I've only been gathering TF2 footage for the last couple of days. This is just some of the hilarious stuff that's happened recently, not in my entire spy career. Spy is pretty much laugh a minute. In this clip, I thought for sure I was found out, but this medic was so desperate to find someone to heal who would hopefully defend him that he gave me a bit of a buff. However, I heard that the train was coming, so I seized the opportunity. I shouted go 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 to the medic and sprinted upstairs, knowing full well that there were a ton of reds up there, and almost none of my teammates to distract them. TF2 players, specifically medics, are always looking for something to do. Downtime is time wasted. The medic was at 100% Uber, so I knew that it would be well worth it if I died in order to kill him. So with no other heal targets in sight, I knew, or should I say I desperately hoped, that the medic would follow me, and he did. Pay attention to the names on the kill feed here. Since disguised spies should never look backwards, I wasn't sure at first if my plan worked. I might have just gotten myself killed for no reason, but that's not what happened. I led this medic with full Uber right into the path of a train, and he probably popped his Uber at the last second, desperately hoping it would save him from the train, but sure enough it didn't. When I dissected the kill feed and realized my plan had worked, I was as happy as can be.
Sniper behind us.
Hey man, what's up?
Listen to that laugh. I have played an incredibly unhealthy amount of games since I was 6, and there's nothing else in gaming that can make me laugh as hard as moments like this when playing Spy. There's literally no feeling in the world as fun as blatantly lying to someone in a consequence-free game. I try my absolute best to be as honest as I can in real life, but put me in a game that encourages deception and I'll lie through my grinning teeth all damn day. So far, every single clip I've shown featured me making a medic look incredibly imperceptive, but bear with me as I show one more. Over the past few days, I've seen a lot of medic players that seem to be new to the game, which gives me a lot of hope for the next generation of TF2 players. However, I absolutely cannot stop myself from loving every second of murdering them. Here, my medic miraculously managed to survive this fight with this heavy. I used the heavy's death to make it look like I was suddenly outgunned with him gone, so I retreated, using the opportunity to look behind me in a way that wasn't too obvious. A medic, a demo, and a sniper. The demo man looks like the best target. They tend to get pretty bad tunnel vision because they don't want to quit spamming and they only have one eye. The sniper will have his attention on my medic in his sightlines, so he hopefully won't notice the incredibly quick disguise change of your eternal reward. And the medic was a rogue element. I knew I needed to go after the demo, but the only question was if the medic would give me an opportunity. I know I'm saying I had a plan, but I was still convinced that I gave myself away when I turned around while retreating from my friendly medic, so I figured I'd go out swinging and take out the demo before he suspected me, at least getting one more kill before I died. However, due to the pure magic of your Eternal, the sniper didn't notice my stab, and the enemy medic retreated behind cover to stay away from the fighting. My Ubersaw medic rushing the enemy spy here served as the perfect excuse for me to retreat one more time, and by the time I realized no one was suspicious of me, having already seen the demo man fighting, the medic ran up to cover, supposedly hoping I would follow him, and what happened next was pure magic.
We did it, mate! Cheers, mate!
Then, as is almost always the case with Spy, my cockiness that had me stopping to laugh bit me in the ass when a sniper and his SMG, possibly the worst gun in the game, managed to beat me down within inches of my life. Sniper has 2, arguably 3 weapons specifically designed to counter Spy, so needless to say, Spy is supposed to be a pretty big threat to Sniper, and yet one mistake just makes this maniacal murderer laughing at his most recent betrayal into a screaming little baby man. Spy has a duality to him like no character I've ever seen. There will be times that you're absolutely carrying the team. Sure, your guys are providing a bit of a distraction, but you're pretty much just fighting the entire enemy team by yourself, and you feel like an absolute god. But the situation can just turn on a dime, and you'll be screaming, running away, and begging the enemy to just let you get away with it this once. Every class in TF2 has counters, so every class can go from absolute badass to screaming baby in seconds. That's a huge part of the comedy of the game. But if a soldier is getting torn apart by a demo man, there's so much the soldier can do to turn that situation around, or at least make it into a draw. Spy, however, pretty much has no option other than the entirely desperate revolver spam for when he messes up. Unless you're a god at headshots, you'll spend a considerable amount of time just looking like, well, a little bitch. I've been rocket jumping since I was 7, I've been spinal tapping people in Halo since I was 8, I've been translocating since I was 9, and messing with the gravity gun since I was 10. And there is literally nothing I've ever experienced in a multiplayer game that's as hilariously fun as playing Spy.